taken them as though they are sincere elders, and we've treated them so softly. We've coddled them, and we've put them right back into the position of predatory role in the lives of others. And we've coddled the wolves. Frankly, we've coddled the wolves because we were too afraid to, well, I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to be too harsh. I don't want to be too mean. I don't want to cause strife. I don't want to cause division. I don't want to all this. I want to, and it's like we're so afraid of doing it wrong that we frankly do not do it. I want to admonish and encourage with as much love in my heart every elder in the body of Christ right now. God, I pray for all whistleblowers and victims out there across the body of Christ that you would inspire courage, even if it's messy. And I want to say this. I just want to say this. So many charismatic leaders have said this over the years. All the charismatic leaders, frankly, have said this over the years. If revival comes, it's going to be messy. Even if it's messy, we still accept it. We'll figure it out as we go. I want to admonish you with that same thought. Exposure is here, and it is the Lord. And I think all of you know it. I'm going to speak very frankly right now. I'm going to speak very frankly. I believe all of you know that the exposure is of the Lord. And in the same way that you believed many of these moves and revivals were of the Lord, but they were so messy. There was false manifestations in some of them. There were false prophets that came in some of them. There was false stuff that happened. There was a mess that happened, but there was still genuine that happened, right? Because we accepted the revival, and we, even in the middle of the mess, because we wanted God so bad. I want to say to you, do you want righteousness in the same way that you wanted the revival? Do you want holiness in the same way you wanted the movement? Do you want righteousness in the body of Christ in the same way that you wanted a move of God? I believe, seek first the kingdom and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added. Do you want the righteousness of God, the holiness of God in the same way? Then I believe you need to be just as open to the reality that it's going to be messy. I would encourage you to spend less time putting out prophetic words. I'm just going to encourage you about this. Spend less time putting out prophetic words about what is being called the spirit of accusation, and spend more time welcoming those that are on the road to Jerusalem that have been beaten, stripped naked, and bloodied. Spend time stopping for these, because it's messy out here. It's messy on this road. And sadly, what we're finding is that the Good Samaritans are often right now not the powerful apostles that are busy meeting with President Trump and meeting with in their big councils. We're finding that the Good Samaritan, those that are following the word of Christ in this moment, are those that are sometimes not your same denomination, not your same style of Christianity. And some of them, frankly, have done better that aren't Christians at all. And that's not to say that we just go, oh, then we don't need Christ. No, we do, and they need Christ too. But we are looking to you to not be the priest that passes the beaten person on the road while the Good Samaritan stops. Don't be the priest that passes them. Don't be the prophet that prophesies the spirit of accusation while passing the person and stepping to the other side of the road of the bloodied and beaten victim. My Lord, my God, this is for every leader right now. Hear me. It's coming to all of our doors. It's coming to your door. The way that you're handling this, the way that you've handled this in the past, if you've got these things in your closet, look at Dr. Michael Brown right now. And I'm not saying this with any vengeance in my heart toward him at all. But frankly, it's at his doorstep today because of the way that he's handled these things in the past, the way that he's handled his own victims, the way that he's handled his own confrontations by minimizing it. And then by standing up on pulpits to be the arbiter of these situations, it's now at his doorstep. And he is in the same situation. But we as the body of Christ, we so love his books on Messianic Judaism. We so love his takes on everything. He's got doctor in front of his name, and he's a charismatic. Therefore, we think we can put him in the ring with Justin Peters, and he'll show how we're all good charismatics, and he'll stand for us. Listen, Dr. Brown is not our answer. Michael Brown is not our answer. Frankly, Michael Brown committed clergy sexual misconduct many years ago over the phone with sexual conversations with a victim in his congregation, as well as with a young woman who worked for him that he told her to call him daddy. And he touched her inappropriately multiple times. That is enough to say no more. I don't care about if he can post 1,000 Bible verses today on his Facebook and say, oh, well, God bless you to every person he talks to about it. Oh, blessings, I'm under the fear of the Lord. Great, if you're under the fear of the Lord, then listen and step down from ministry. We don't need your insight anymore. And that's not a dishonoring all that you've done or who you are as a person. No, we're just saying this fruit is not okay. And we're calling it publicly. You have not publicly repented. And so we're calling it publicly. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 20. Those elders who continue in sin, reprimand in the presence of all. The ASV says that the rest may be in fear. In fear. The rest what? The rest of the elders may be in fear. If my kid understands that a car could hit them when they run across the street without looking, yes, there's going to be a little bit of fear. It's not because I'm mean. It's because cars are dangerous. It's because that's the way the world works. The rest may be in fear. The elders need to be in fear that they will be exposed before everyone, and they will lose that position of authority, and they cannot influence people's lives anymore, and they'll need to just go and be a congregation member or be a closely watched congregation member and make sure they have a job working with their hands or doing whatever they do in the public sector. But guys, this stuff needs to be outed. And I believe, yes, that method matters as far as Timothy says, how to rebuke an elder. We don't do it harshly. You know, here I'm thinking of even myself. I think about it. I'm like, sometimes I get intense because it's an intense subject. But I will say that sometimes these elders have become wolves. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Matthew chapter 7, he says, you'll know them by their fruit. They are false teachers. Let's just go there real quick. Matthew chapter 7, I believe it is. Matthew 7. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. They are ravenous wolves. So are you rebuking an elder harshly, or are you rebuking a wolf harshly? I don't know. May God give us true discernment. May God give us true discernment on that. But I would honestly rather err on this side, because what's been done before, this is what I'm going to say, guys. This has been done many times before. And we see it with Bentley. We see it with so many others, that we have taken them as though they are sincere elders, and we've treated them so softly. We've coddled them, and we've put them right back into the position of predatory role in the lives of others. And we've coddled the wolves. Frankly, we've coddled the wolves because we were too afraid to, well, I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to be too harsh. I don't want to be too mean. I don't want to cause strife. I don't want to cause division. I don't want to all this. I want to, and it's like we're so afraid of doing it wrong that we frankly do not do it. I want to admonish and encourage with as much love in my heart every elder in the body of Christ right now. I'm calling Lance Wall now. Please wake up, please. Your statements on all this stuff have been so disheartening and so confusing, and you're out there in the political world willing to call out corruption, but you are not being a father in the body of Christ. You are not being a father in the charismatic movement because you're unwilling to deal with the wolves in sheep's clothing. It is dangerous. I want to admonish Rick Joyner. I believe that you are in danger of being in outer darkness. And if that works like your book said it did, which is, okay, you weren't quite in hell, because I know you said this in your book. I remember I read it years ago. You weren't quite in hell, but you were all the way in the outer darkness, far away from the presence of the Lord. Well, at the very least, I believe you're in danger of that because of the way that you're living, privately with these men and dealing privately with these men, I think is dangerous. I believe in some ways that you could be a wolf. The fruits that you're showing, the way that you're putting these people back in predatory roles, it doesn't feel like a shepherd. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but may God have mercy on us, because we're trying to discern between those that care for the flock and those that care for something else. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Wake Up and Win Insurance. We help clients all over the nation with their term life, whole life, or universal life insurance, and we're definitely happy to help you with a consultation.
Check the description below for more info.